All right, here we go. This is the Final Percent podcast, and I'm podcasting from home today. I had just an absolutely insane week, 45 hours in 3 days, but you know what? It was all worth it because I'm going that final percent every single day. Today, I want to talk about a concept that I really think is going to help entrepreneurs shine a light on something that they may not realize is going on. And it talks about who is the best salesman in your life. Whether you realize it or not, you're actually studying from this person constantly. They are talking to you, they're helping you, they're hurting you, they are making you do things, they're making you not do things. So can you figure out who that salesman is in your life, the best salesman you know? It's you. You are capable of talking you into things far better than any salesman is ever going to do to you. And that is something that I actually came to the conclusion of because I was saying, man, you know what? Why am I doing this? And the thing is my brain, it knows me better than any salesman ever will. So I unfortunately fall for my own tricks and I don't necessarily realize it. So you have to consider yourself as literally the world's best salesman. So you have to really learn discipline. You have to really analyze your decision-making process as it pertains to you and getting really strong people in your life to help be a check and balance situation so that they can go, whoa, dude, what is going on? And you having to really, I know it sounds bad, but really explain yourself and really come to the conclusion with your trusted advisors, your circle of friends, your inner circle, however you want to approach it. I just think it's extremely important that you kind of understand this phenomenon that is happening inside of you every single day. And you've got to be very careful on how you listen to yourself, why you listen to yourself, because remember, if you want something, you can convince yourself that anything is true. You can talk yourself into anything that it is a good idea in the moment. That's where the phrase comes from. You need to sleep on it or take some time with it or make sure that you do your due diligence. And I realized that I was so bad at that because I consider myself a pretty good salesman. And I realized that I was talking myself into BS that was hurting myself far more than it was helping myself. Now, did I hit the proverbial home run every now and then? Yes, I did. But the problem is I struck out a lot more than I got home runs. And as entrepreneurs, we're very optimistic creatures. And I just want you to learn how to balance that with being realistic. And that's the problem in today's society. We want to be optimistic instead of realistic. And what you really need in being a true entrepreneur, you need to really learn both. Because yes, risk is essential. You're going to have to learn risk, but you've got to ask yourself, okay, is this a calculated risk? Do I understand the variables? Do I really understand the downside? Because I'm telling you, you really have to understand the magnitude of your decisions. That's why when I talk about the risk dial, the more people that depend on you, the more people that are affected by your decision, your risk dial needs to be adjusted accordingly so that you can really understand, okay, if I make this decision and it blows up, I'm not just affecting myself. I'm affecting everybody around me. I'm affecting the people in my organization, my family, my team. So make sure that if it's a big enough decision, you get them involved and they say, hey, you know what? I don't really think that this is a good idea. Hear them out, understand why. But I'm telling you, running your business as if you are a part of some sort of lottery club winners, it's just not going to be a good idea because it takes hard work, perseverance, calculated decisions, understanding risk, and a ton of communication. So the next time you're about to make a huge decision, and you're going to be running through all of the sales pitches to yourself in your head, play like you're buying a car, play like you're buying a house, play like you're buying that big screen TV, and think about what you do to those salesmen. You haggle with them. You say, okay, if we're going to do this, then you're going to need to give me that. Well, I want you to take the taxes off. I want you to give me free installation, free shipping. I want you to give me just above invoice. Well, you know what? Start understanding that you are no different. You have to haggle with yourself. You have to ask yourself those hard questions. You have to demand a lot of yourself, especially if it's a big shift, a big decision. So when you're going through those internal monologues and you're telling yourself why you absolutely need to do this right now, and you're giving yourself the sense of urgency and the wow factor and the scarcity, every sales tactic on the planet you're using on yourself. So start using every sales tactic that you use on Salesman, and you start fighting yourself so that you can really, really get to the best decision for you. But the problem is you're going to run into the worst one of all. And I believe that is the keeping up with the Joneses. That is the neighbors next door that just bought a boat. They bought a new car. That is your friend who just got the newest, shiniest, whatever widget that just came out. And you're going to have this thing inside of you to where you want to have that cool kids club from back in high school. And oh man, I want the newest jacket. I want the newest jeans. I want the newest phone. I want the newest things. And you really, really need to curb that. And that is probably the thing that has hurt me the most in my life, because yes, I like nice things. I like the shiny objects. I like the new things. But again, you are your own worst salesman, best salesman, because you are going to talk yourself into the fact that you need to get that. And we're probably going to talk about the word need in the next podcast, because I think that is very important. It is something that we use as a sales tactic to try to justify certain things that we do. And I mean, let's talk about cars. That's probably one of the things that the media tells us, man, if you're successful, you drive a big, fancy, nice car. And even if it's a year old, say like you just got the latest, greatest. Well, now the new models come out and you're no longer the latest, greatest. And I was very guilty of that. That was one of my biggest vices. I went through 13 cars in 1 year. Is probably the stupidest thing I've ever done when I had a little bit of money. And you are left with a giant liability, no assets, and you are just dropping your net worth, your value, and certainly your IQ if you take that path. You're never going to find your happiness in cars or things. So I really want you to understand, if you already have a car and say it's maybe even still under warranty, you don't need a new car. You're just fine. I want you to start saying, hey, I want a new car. And then you're going to save for it. And you're going to do it at the right time. And it's going to be a calculated decision. And you're going to talk through it with your spouse, or you're going to talk through it with your family or your significant other, or at least a few friends before you make a dumb decision. So again, just look inside yourself at your inner salesman and realize, wow, I'm a lot better salesman than I thought I was. So if any of you out there saying, I'm not really a good salesman, that's just not who I am, I think you're probably going to realize after this podcast, dang, I'm actually a pretty good salesman. So be careful of that inner salesman, and just make good decisions and talk through it and adjust that risk dial accordingly. This has been the Final Percent Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. This is a journey. We're just going to put one foot in front of the other and conquer each day as it comes at us. Thanks for letting me be a part of your journey. And also, huge shout out to Ben Harris out in Las Vegas for giving me a shout out on listening to the podcast. Thank you so much. It means the world. He has an amazing show in Las Vegas with Terry Fader at the Mirage. So if you're out in Las Vegas, go check him out. He's a really good friend of mine and an insanely talented human. So thanks again, guys. This has been the Final Percent. We will talk to you soon.